In evaluating a definite integral by substitution, we must either return to the original variable before substituting the limits, or we change the limits to correspond with the change in the variable. So there are instances wherein it would be better if we change the limits to correspond to the change in the variable instead of doing the first one, returning to the original variable. So for example, we are going to use simple substitution to evaluate this given integral, right? So we let x squared plus 1, the radicand, be our u, and then we're going to solve for du. So du is 2x dx. So there's only x dx. We need to multiply that by 2. So we need to balance it by putting the neutralizing factor 1/2, right? So since we're changing already the variable, so if you don't want to return to the original variable x and then use 0 and square root of 3 for the limits, so we change the upper and the lower limits. So instead of using 0 for the lower limit, so we solve for the new lower limit. So knowing that u is x squared plus 1, so x is 0, so that's 0 squared plus 1. So the new lower limit is 1. And for the upper limit, square root of 3, so the new upper limit is square root of 3 squared plus 1, or that's 3 plus 1, or 4. So this integral would now be 1/2, and then square root of u du, and the new limits are 1 and 4. So upon evaluation, so this is using power rule, so that's u to the 3/2 over 3/2, and then evaluate from 1 to 4. Or that's 1/2 divided by 3/2, so that's 1 over 3. And then since we're dealing with radicals, so it would be better to write this u to the 3/2 in radical form and simplify it. So u to the 3/2, so that's u and square root of u, right? So evaluate from 1 to 4. So plug in the values of u. So first, using the upper limit, so that's 4 square root of 4 minus evaluating using the lower limit, so that's 1 square root of 1, or that's 1/3 of 4 times 2. Square root of 4 is 2, so 4 times 2 is 8, minus 1 times square root of 1 is 1, so minus 1. So that's 8 minus 1, or 7, times 1/3, so the value of the definite integral is 7/3. So the next example, we have here a trigonometric function. So if we're going to use simple substitution, we are going to let the denominator be our u, since its differential is ready in the numerator. So it's 0 plus secant squared t dt, right? And then since we are changing the variable, and if we don't want to return to the original variable t, so our integrand now becomes du over u. So we are going to change the limits. So from the lower limit 0, we solve for the new limit u, which is 1 plus tangent of 0. So tangent of 0 degrees is 0. Sine over cosine is equal to tangent. So sine of 0 is 0, right? So cosine of 0 is 1. So 0 over 1 is 0. So the new limit would be 1 plus 0, or 1, for the lower limit. And for the upper limit, pi over 4. Okay, sorry, this is not x. This should be t. The original variable is t. Okay, so upper limit is pi over 4, solving for u. So that's 1 plus tangent of pi over 4. So pi over 4 is 45 degrees. So tangent of 45 degrees is 1. Okay, so that's 1 plus 1. So the new upper limit is 2. Okay, so we evaluate this from 1 to 2. So integral of du over u is ln of u, and then evaluate from 1 to 2. So ln of 2 minus ln of the lower limit 1. ln of 1 is 0 for ln of 2, so we just write it as ln of 2. Okay, that's already an exact na value. You don't need to transform that into decimal form. It's an irrational number, so the decimal places is number of decimal places is infinite. Okay, so that's ln of 2 minus 0. So let's write the value of ln of 1, which is 0. So the final answer is ln of 2. So another trigonometric function integrand. So this time it's a power of sine, okay? And we can use solvable groups of trigonometric integrals to solve this. Okay, but as you can see, the angle here is 2x, and we have the upper limit pi over 4. If we're going to let u be our 2x, then the upper limit would be 2 times pi over 4 or pi over 2. So if we have a lower limit 0 and upper limit pi over 2, and it's a power of sine, then we can use Wallis formula. So if we let 2x be the u, so du is 2 dx. So we need to multiply the given integrand by 2 and then balance by multiplying with 1/2. So no changes in the lower limit, because if x is 0, then u is also 0. It's 2 times 0 or 0. Well, for the upper limit, then if we multiply that by 2, so it becomes pi over 2. So it's 1/2 of the integral of sine of u raised to the power of 6 du from 0 to pi over 2. So using Wallis formula, so the numerator is the exponent or the power of sine minus 1. So that's 5, and then interval of 2 units after 5. So that's 3 and then 1. And for the denominator, it's the exponent of sine, okay, or the power of sine, and then also with interval of 2 until the last number, which is 2. And since 6 is an even number, therefore the value of alpha is pi over 2. If it's odd, then alpha is equal to 1. Okay, so we have a common factor here for the numerator and denominator. So we have 3 and 6. So we have 1 and 2 here. And then for the final answer, so we have 5 pi in the numerator, and in the denominator, it's 2 times 2, so 4 times 4, 16 times 2, 32 times 2, so that's 64. So 5 pi over 64 is the final answer. You can also use the Wallis formula for this next example, because if we let 1/3 of x be our u, so the upper limit, okay, there's no problem with the lower limit, so I will not show the lower limit transformation because it's still 0. 1/3 times 0 is 0. So I'll show here the upper limit, which is originally 3 pi over 2. So if we're going to multiply that by 1/3, it's pi over 2. So du is 1/3 dx. So we need a neutralizing factor equal to 3 so that we can transform this to 3 times the integral of sine cube of u times cosine of u raised to the power of 5 du, changing the upper limit to pi over 2 so that you can use the Wallis formula. So we start with the numerator, that's 3, reduce it by 1, so it's with 2 and ends with 2. And for the cosine's power, so we start with 5 minus 1, or that's 4, and then followed by 2. And for the denominator, it's the sum of the powers of sine and cosine. So it's 3 plus 5 or 8, reduced by 2, so 6, then 4, then 2. And since the powers are odd numbers, so the value of alpha is 1. Okay, so we can just cancel out the common factors here. So we have 2 and 4, and then for 3 and 6. So this becomes 2, and for 2 and 8, this becomes 4. So we have 1 over 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So we have